storms that's lit up with warnings from Flore County south almost all the way to Houston, Texas is marching eastbound. These things are moving by about 40 miles per hour, a little bit slower than that previous round. But a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for southern Flore County. A lot of lightning with this storm too. This is going to be south of Poto. This is going to be more towards Big Cedar, Tallahena, and then getting close to Honubi as you're getting into right near the county line with McCurtain. But I just want to show you overall the map. The yellow color that's here on the map itself, that is a tornado watch that continues for southeast Oklahoma and into southern Arkansas. You go north and it's really a rain threat. Guys, we have a lot of flash flood warnings. I want to show you those in a moment too, but the biggest thing of concern is really the severe thunderstorm warning for southern Flore County. Once again, here's Poto, and this yellow line shows you the severe thunderstorm warning that's off towards the south. Now, it's super interesting too because we've got a lot of heavy rain surrounding us and a lot of frequent flashes of lightning too. The red colors show you flash flood warnings. Guys, we picked up a lot of water in Logan County, Scott County, Flore County, and Latimer counties. That's where we picked up some of the most, but still a lot of heavy rain for Sequoia too. That's why we have a flood advisory. Don't be surprised if we do get a flash flood warning for Sallisaw and the rest of Flore and going into Haskell counties too. Northwest Arkansas, a lot of rain. We'll see if we get a flash flood warning. We may be just shy of that. We'll see, but heavy rain continues for the metros. But let's take a closer look at the severe thunderstorm warning. This is a line with some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour pressing eastbound. So we've got McCurtain County, we've got southern Flore County. This thing continues to move east by about 35 to 40 miles per hour. What's super interesting though is once you get closer to Poto and Heavener, you got this strong south wind that takes these storms where the boundary is and just kind of throws them over and produces a bunch of heavy rain for the rest of the river valley. So we've got this one storm that's sitting in front of the line that's back off towards the west, Tallahena, all the way south into McCurtain County. So right now, it looks like anywhere from Flore to Summerfield, Fanshawe, just south of us to Whitesboro, Muse, and Big Cedar. So Big Cedar right off 259. Big Cedar, we're right about here. You guys in that area, a lot of heavy rain's about to hit us. We've already been dumped on with this storm, but this storm back off towards the west, this line of red that you see, that has some gusty winds as it's marching east. Here's a look at the timing. So we get towards Muse, Flore County, 8:45, Smithville, 8:52, Hatfield, 9:18. Mena, we could be impacted by this storm, and we just had a big storm for us here just recently, just after 9:30, Acorn a little bit after 9:30 as well. This line will continue to push east. We'll have to see if it can hold once it crosses the state line because we've had storms already kind of pass through this environment, but we still have a south wind that's trying to replenish the atmosphere, but we definitely have used some. All right, so let's take a look at hail now. The hail threat on this storm has gone down quite a bit. As you look off towards the west, the hail was a little bit better as you're going towards the Choctaw Nation. Here's Clayton, and then south into Raton. Once you get south of towards Antlers and Neshoba and Findlay, Snow, Oklahoma, that's where we had that hail, but it looks like as the hail continues to move east, it has weakened. Now back behind me, you also see some hail that we had with that storm that we were tracking earlier. You can see the track of it. That's also now pushing out into Yell County, and it's pretty much dissipated. But right now, we've got a couple of hailstones that could possibly still be on the ground, but the hail threat has now moved out of Scott County, and it looks like the hail threat with the storm that's severely warned in southern Flore. And you can see the ridges here. So we're in rural Flore County, the southern half of the county, south of Heavener. So you got to go south of Poto Mountain in order to get to some of these mountains that are off towards the south. Beautiful driving country there on the Talamina Drive. But that's where we're getting some of this lightning and the gusty wind threat that's starting to move on through. Here's a wider view of some of those storms. They extend all the way from Tallahena south into North Texas. Dallas had some storms. These are the same storms that were pushing across parts of North Texas and southern Oklahoma here just shortly. But Whitesboro, Muse, and Big Cedar, that's where we're watching. And then south towards Octavia and Smithville. So we're extreme southern Flore County, northern Montgomery County. So in McCurtain County, we have that whole severe thunderstorm warning too. The other threat is the flash flooding threat, and that's going to continue for most of us tonight. Even if you don't have a warning, expect some rivers and creeks to rise overnight tonight as the heavy rain continues to fall. Heavy rain for Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville. We're not getting the severe weather. We're just getting dumped on with that heavy rain, and watch out for some lightning strikes here and there, some rumbles of thunder occasionally. We got a good pocket of rain right over Decatur and Gentry. That's headed north towards Noel and Neosho here soon. More rain for Fayetteville and Greenland, West Fork, right down 62 to Lincoln and Prairie Grove, Farmington. We're getting that rain. Looks like very heavy rain right over centered over Rogers and the Pleasant Grove Grove exit, you go north to Pinnacle Hills, northeast to Pea Ridge, and then to Prairie Grove area. That's where we're watching that heavy rain. You get to Prairie Creek, we got the heavy rain too. Looks like some of the heaviest, though, if we had to say, is actually over Logan County. Check this out. This was that storm that we had earlier and has really just kind of unfolded. It goes over the boundary, and instead of showing those severe properties, we probably have a boundary about here. Once you go north of this kind of imaginary line that I was drawing, you go north of that, the storm kind of collapses and just becomes a huge rainstorm as it moves north. Clarksville, it's about to pour, and it's already been pouring on and off throughout Clarksville, Knoxville, and Lamar. It's about to just be dumping rain here very soon. Rain is dumping over Mount Magazine. That's where we have some of the heaviest rain right now. Subiaco, Scranton, eastern Logan County, lots of good rainfall for us. A lot of lightning strikes too. It is noisy in eastern Scott County, right into Logan County and Yolo County right now too. And that's going to continue for a while. This thing's kind of training a little bit. Don't be surprised if we get another flash flood warning, but we already have a flash flood warning for Scott County and into Polk County. And we have a flash flood warning for southern Flore County. It's right there starting at the fairgrounds, the county fairgrounds in Poteau, and south. So from Cavanaugh north, we're not under a warning right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got one as more rain comes in from the south. Very heavy rain, though, for Tallahena and Big Cedar, of course, with that severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like it's a little bit lighter in Crawford County. If we had to say one or two counties that are getting the lightest rain, it'd be Crawford and Adair counties. We're getting a little bit of a break, but more rain's just off towards the south. Rain's starting to collect in Mansfield and Hartford and Huntington right now. That's going to really make things pick up in Fort Smith and Chaffee Crossing here shortly. Van Buren, we're going to start to pick up the rain too. Is already starting to pick up again in Sallisaw. You guys can probably hear it outside after that little break that we had just there for a little bit, just kind of some lighter rain. But now it's picking up, really picking up for us in Franklin County. We've got some good downpours over Ozark and Mulberry as you head east towards Crawford County, but then right towards Whitaker Village and Altus, very good downpours for us. Paris, we've got the downpours. You cross over the bridge into Johnson County, we've got a lot of heavy rain too. So continue to watch out for that. Temperatures are really kind of the story on where we see storms thrive. If you're in the 60s, you've got the chance for storms for them to be severe. Now, Fort Smith, we're right on the edge. We're really watching it towards the south. If you look towards the yellow colors in southern Leflore County and Scott County, and then also Latimer and Haskell counties, we still have some energy in the atmosphere, as we still have a little bit of a south wind trying to come in, but most of us have that north wind right now, and that's keeping us safe from the severe weather, but it's squeezing out a lot of those raindrops as they start to come in. So continue to watch out for that. So I'm going to back up the radar. Let's take a closer look at that storm again. We'll give you another update. Here's a wide view. New tornado warning for northeast Texas, it looks like. They're going to have to watch, because this is kind of a line that we had earlier this week. Remember Sunday night, we had that line that pushed across Oklahoma and then into western Arkansas, and we had these little spin-up rotations. So now that's Texas's turn. We're just getting some gusty winds. We're kind of on the most northern part of that whole line, and it just extends barely into Leflore County, but that's where we have the warning right now, and several flash flood warnings right along the boundary too, where these storms move in and then they just start dumping a lot of heavy rain. Here's a closer look again. Heavy rain coming into Big Cedar, as it's already been doing, back west towards Tallahena. So anywhere right along Oklahoma 63, you go past the Horse Heaven Ranch and you go east into Whitesboro. That's where we're getting some of that too. You continue on 63, go past Callaway. You go past, there's the Forestry Department there as you get closer to Muse, and then continue east towards the Billy Creek recreational area there in the southern or northern Ouachitas. You got Blue Hole, which is just north of us too, and then all the way east to Big Cedar, right there along 63. 63, that Talamina Drive just continues to get soaked. But it kind of looks like this line is a little bit weakening here on the northern end. Remember, this line of red that you see extends all the way south to Houston. I mean, it's a long line, but we're on the northern end, the very cold end, and so this thing is struggling looking like at least a little bit. I'll try to show you, once again, that path headed towards Muse. I mean, time right now, 8:41, so it's already heavily raining in Muse, but right now in Muse, it's a cell that's already been over us for a while. The line of storms that we're talking about with more of the wind threat will be here very shortly, and then Smithville just a little bit after that, 8:52, and then after 9 o'clock, once you get towards Arkansas and Hatfield and Mena and Acorn, we'll be watching that threat. I want to go back to hail. It looks like we haven't had actually a new hail pocket scan come in. We've had some hail back west towards just south of the Choctaw Nation, south of Clayton. You can see Clayton with the lake. You go south of there, and we've had that hail, but it looks like nothing's been extended. So we've had hail back off towards the south and west, nothing extended there. Looks like we have a little bit of leftover hail in Yell County. You can see back off towards the east there. We've had a good swath of hail that hit us near Mina, all the way towards Voldemort, Cove, and then that kind of track north and east got us in southeastern Scott County there a bit with some of that ping pong ball-sized hail, and then now it's weakened as it moves off towards the north and east. Otherwise, if you look closely, you can also see some of the lightning. See those little white things on the map? You got to look close. Very loud from Lake Wister south into Heavener, Howell. Most of this is south of Poto for the storm threat. Everyone's getting rain at this time, but for that gusty wind threat kind of accompanying with some of these lightning strikes from Heavener south all the way to Hodgen and Page and the rest of Flore County towards Big Cedar. And then you hop on 63 back west towards Muse and Whitesboro, eventually to Tallahena. That's where we're watching probably the loudest stretch that we have right now. Other than getting those lightning strikes in eastern Scott County, it's pretty loud once you head just a little bit east of Waldron. There towards Parks and Gravely, Harvey. They're off of either 28 or 80 as you're kind of coming in between some of the ridges in eastern Scott County. So that's what we're tracking right now. Gusty winds pushing across the floor, and it looks like they're just kind of reaffirming the tornado watch. You saw that yellow flashing there for a moment. It looks like the map itself is yellow. That's showing you the tornado watch, and then areas outlined in yellow shows you the severe thunderstorm warnings right now. But this line will continue to push into southern the Flore, staying south of Poto. If you're south of Poto, south of Heavener, watch out for some gusty winds. Heavy rain really picking up again, even though it's been pouring now here for a while. Flash flood warning continues. Let's do a quick recap on where just the flash flood warnings are right now. I'll back things up for a second. I think that was, there we go. All right, so anywhere you see the dark red color outlined by that lime green shows you the flash flood warning. So southern Logan County, this is Boonville south, and then the rest of Scott County, most of the Flore from Poto south, flash flood warning for Latimer County as well. So lots of rain. All the light green colors show you those flood advisories that we have in effect. Those include Franklin, Crawford, Sequoia, Haskell, and Sebastian counties. Essentially what you're kind of talking about, the difference here, is that lighter green, if you could basically rank the two, flash flood warnings would be up here, flood advisories somewhere down here a little bit, but still a threat that we have to watch. If you're in a flood zone, or if you live near a creek or some sort of riverbed, it's probably flowing like crazy, and it's going to continue to rise throughout the overnight hours. In fact, even when it stops raining, some of those waters on these rivers will continue to go up over the next couple of hours. But watch out for some running water. Make sure if you see a road and you do have to travel tonight, try not to go through flooded roadways. You know, a lot of times if it's running, that's really dangerous. But the problem is too, if you see standing water, you know, you got to watch out for a sinkhole that could be underneath. So watch out for that, but make sure you're prepared to try to seek some higher ground if you live in parts of some of the valleys of Scott County where everything drains off those Washita's and then heads in. But we're going to be watching that throughout the rest of this evening. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning for southern Flore County, south of Heavener and Hodgen. That's where we're watching the severe storms right now with some gusty winds and a lot of lightning. But really the big threat is some heavy rain, and we're all getting that tonight. We are all soaked, and another 1 to 2 inches could be possible throughout the overnight hours. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local, and as always, we'll keep you advised.